Van Gogh said, if you hear a voice within you say, do not paint, by all means paint. That voice will be silenced. If you hear a voice within you saying, you cannot speak in public, by all means speak in public, and that voice will be silenced. Chances are you get into that psychic wrestling match between the little voice in your mind, chips away all your confidence and dials up your self-doubt, which sounds like this. What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough? You'll make a fool of yourself. What will people say? You are not smart enough, talented enough, capable enough, good enough, or experienced enough. Hello, my name is Lucy and welcome to my channel where I talk about self-love, self-development, healthy living and productivity. It's something that you want and something that is up your alley, then please do not forget to subscribe and be part of this family. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about self-doubt and why we all have self-doubt and how to improve that self-doubt. I'm going to talk to you and make you sort of feel that self-doubt is part of you. Self-doubt is something that is part of every human person. I believe you're just like me, whereby we have people that we admire, we look at them, and when they walk into the room, their body language speaks of confidence. When they speak, people listen. When they talk, people reply back with respect and with confidence. And because of that, we just think, does this person ever think that, can I do this, or can they do this? How are they this confident? How can they not feel the room swallowing them up? How can they not see the eyes looking at them and people who are judging them in their mind? How are they so confidently standing here and not thinking about anything else? I am here to help you break that cycle of self-doubt. Like always, we are going to check on our most trusted web search in this world right now, which is Google. And I'm going to read to you what I read about self-doubt and what self-doubt is. Now let's read this together. Self-doubt is a feeling of uncertainty or lack of confidence in oneself and in one's abilities. Let's repeat that. Uncertainty or lack of confidence in oneself and in one's abilities. What it's trying to say is self-confidence is the fear of uncertainty. The fear of uncertainty means that something hasn't yet happened, but you have already created the situation in which it's going to fail, in which it's going to be judged, in which you already know the outcome of it before it ever actually happens. You doubt yourself. You do so much, you achieve so much, you give so much, you're good at something, but then again you're uncertain about how good you are about it. And it's just something that is bizarre. That's happened to me as well. I am recording this video right now. You're watching this video, but there is a doubt in me that this video will not be seen by so many people. There is a doubt in me that this video will never be pushed out. There's a doubt in me that this video is just going to stay in my archives and no one is ever going to see it. I have that doubt in myself. I feel that doubt, but I'm here saying to myself, just like Van Gogh said, that if you have a voice in your mind saying to you that do not do something, then by all means do that particular thing, and that voice will be silenced and you'll be able to go and achieve and push yourself to that thing that you want to do. Honestly speaking, self-doubt is something that is very challenging. It's something that is hard sometimes to break a pattern of. It's easy to tell people, love yourself, embrace yourself, but even in that embracing ourselves, even in that loving ourselves, there is always a voice that is saying, in me taking care of myself, am I neglecting other people? Am I being selfish? So that little voice is called self-doubt. Self-doubt can be a very impossible challenge to overcome because it's that inner voice in your mind telling you that you can't do enough, you can't be enough, you can't achieve enough. What you have done, people are judging it. What do people say? What do people think? But here are some tips that can really help you to break that cycle of self-doubt. If you want to overcome self-doubt, the first thing you have to do is to identify the source of that self-doubt. Is it your past experience? Is it something that someone has said to you in the past? Is it something that you've watched, something you've consumed over and over again that is making you doubt yourself? I would say to you, for me personally, it will be watching other people's YouTube. Sometimes I watch their YouTube and I see how much they articulate themselves, how much they present themselves, how good they do the work that they're doing, and how good they present it, to an extent that I now start doubting myself and I start saying to myself, my channels are not good enough. The way I'm presenting myself is not good enough. Not just online, but outside in other people's personal lives. People are getting things together. So I start doubting myself and I'm like, am I in the wrong profession? Am I doing the wrong thing? Is there something I could have been doing than actually doing this? So now I'm doubting the thing that I'm passionate about, the thing that I love, the thing that I know I can do best. I'm now doubting it because I'm seeing other people's success and how they are, becoming successful, and I'm still staying in the same spot, and I'm like, oh, hold on a minute, we need to rethink everything. So my self-doubt comes from there. So you need to identify what your source of self-doubt is. Sometimes it's past experiences in your past when you're growing up as a child. Maybe your mom and your dad always told you things like, you know what, you can never be good enough unless you do this. You can never achieve this unless you do this. You think that you can go out there and achieve certain things without, thinking about the family or thinking about this and that. So now you doubt yourself. You doubt yourself in friendships. You doubt yourself in the work you do. You doubt yourself in everything because that inner child of you, that inner child has been told so many things that have made them doubt themselves. In your adulthood, you're now getting to a point where you're doubting yourself of everything. It could be things that people say to you in your job, in your work, in your friendship, in your school, in everyone you've associated yourself with. Identify where that source of self-doubt came from. What that particular thing someone say to you that made you say, oh my God, now I'm going to doubt myself. And self-doubt is continuous because there are different kind of things that people say to you on a present and a daily basis that literally sometimes make you doubt yourself. But every single time someone tells you something that is a not to do, go ahead and do it. Because that is their own insecurity being passed on to you. The next point is to challenge your negative voice. Now, negative voices are a whole different discussion, but what I can say about a negative voice is that some negative voices are telling you, are a sign or a symptom of something that you need to pay attention to. But you have to identify that negative voice and where it is coming from. Ask yourself, these thoughts I'm having, are they based on reality, or are they just a reflection of my own fears, a reflection of your own fears? Ask yourself those kind of questions to help you when it comes to self-doubt. Because when you're doubting yourself and you're saying you're not good enough, are you saying you're not good enough based on the fact of you're not seeing the results you want to get? Or are you saying you're not good enough because the reality of the situation that you're in right now? So try to challenge that inner voice in your mind. If you think anything negative in your mind, challenge that voice. The same way someone would say something negative to you and you challenge them, challenge that voice in your mind the same way. If someone comes to you and challenges you and says to you, you know what, you're not good enough to take on that project, you're like, hold on a minute, I'm good enough to take on that project because I'm experienced, I've been there firsthand to see how it does, I have been able to produce results in this same thing, so you can't come to me and say to me that I'm not good enough. So when that inner voice comes to you, challenge it the same way you would challenge someone else. Because if you cannot challenge that inner voice in you that is making you feel like that negative voice is going to take precedent, it's going to take over, it's going to consume you, it's going to become a reality, and that self-doubt is going to kick in. And when self-doubt comes in, sometimes it leads to depression and anxiety, and you feel all those kind of things. And sometimes self-doubt is more a sign and a symptom of things like depression and anxiety that probably you're not aware of. So try as much as you can to challenge that voice the same way you would challenge anyone who is saying something that you're not happy with. Third point is surround yourself with people who are positive and people that give you good energy. I said this so many times, I explained this in so many times, and I'm saying that your network around you is your accountability. Every single time you doubt yourself and you don't feel good enough, if you're surrounded with someone who is positive and you explain to them and you tell them what you're feeling and how you're doubting yourself, because they are a positive person, it's easy for them to encourage you, to motivate you, to put you into a direction that would help you. But imagine this, you're doubting yourself and you're around people that are so negative and they are so dragging. What are they going to say to you? They are going to reconfirm that voice that you're feeling, that doubt that you're feeling, and you're going to feel even worse, So it's very important to surround yourself with a network of positive people. The next point deserves sort of a clap to you, and it is focus on your strengths instead of your weaknesses. Stop dwelling on what you cannot do and start thinking of what you can do. The main thing about self-doubt, and sometimes why we cannot get out of that mood of feeling low, of feeling down, of doubting ourselves, is because we focus more on our weaknesses and forget about our strengths. Yet we should be focusing more on our strengths and help to strengthen the weaknesses. Okay? Make a list of everything that you have accomplished, everything that you have achieved. This is something that I struggled with. This is something that I always say to myself, I am nowhere in life. I used to think to myself that I've done nothing. I've accomplished nothing. Like, I need to do more and more and more and more. And one time, I sat down and I said to myself, but I have done so many things that I never knew I would do. I've accomplished so many things that I never knew I would accomplish. I have accomplished certain things in my life. I've spoken to people. I have been in rooms where I've met some people that have aspired to see, people I've watched for a very long time. I have built networks with people, you know, that I thought would never ever be friends with me. And I always forget about that. I always forget about my accomplishment. Like, for me, I studied law. I have a law degree and somehow masters in law. I have done that. I studied a whole degree in law, but I put myself down saying I haven't done anything, because I've equated myself on my lack of success to determine whether I am good enough, to determine whether I have done enough in this life. But the actual reality of life is that I have accomplished so many things, but I have to focus more on those accomplishments than the things I have failed in my life, because the things I failed in my life just will drag me down and put me into that spiral and in that hole and in that pit, which I don't want to be in. That is why it's so important to put down a list of everything you've accomplished, everything that you've been able to get, you know, and put them against the things that you haven't yet got. And don't focus more on the things you haven't yet got. Focus on the ones that you have accomplished and say, oh my God, I have done so much. It's going to help you. It's really going to help you so much. The next point is to take action. You remember the first quote that I said by Van Gogh that say that if a little voice in your mind is telling you do not paint, by all means paint. When it comes to self-doubt, it knocks off your confidence, it knocks off who you are, it puts you in a little box whereby you feel like you're squeezed and you feel really, really small. That is what self-doubt does. It takes away everything that makes you a whole as a human being, and you know, this kind of accomplished, radiant person, and it puts you in a very demeaning way. So in order for you to break that voice, in order for you to come out of that, you have to try as much as you can to take action. Act. Where it says not to act, act. When a voice is saying to you, do not start that business because there is no market, trust me, you will create the market in which people will see what you're trying to produce. Because every idea that you have in your mind has already been thought by someone else. But what makes a difference is the one that goes ahead and actually does it. So every single time that voice is saying to you that do not go and do that, go ahead and do it. Well, I'm not talking about a situation whereby there are some things that are a bit extreme, like very extreme. I'm talking about things like accomplishment, things that you want to do, things that you find yourself doing, you know. You want to travel, you want to go on this kind of trip to travel, you know, around the world and visit so many beautiful places. But you have a fear of like, maybe I'm going to miss out. What am I going to gain? Maybe I'll meet people and things that are very strange. When you hear that voice, go ahead and travel. Try small, take action and actually do it to break that vice of self-doubt, because self-doubt is like a parasite and a vice. It dwells and it feeds on your kind of like insecurity, it feeds on your fears, it feeds on your lack of confidence, it feeds on your, you know, unworthiness, everything. That's what self-doubt feeds on. It feeds and feeds and feeds and it never stops. It keeps feeding and feeding as long as you give it the food. So in order for us to take away that food is by taking action. Now, the other point is that you have to try and face reality for what reality is. That when you're doubting yourself, I want you to be real with yourself and say, at this current situation, how am I feeling? Because sometimes your self-doubt comes from a situation that you're feeling at that very moment. Have you missed out on a business deal? Have you failed on that test? Have you, wanted to be friends with this person, but this person doesn't seem to value you as a friend? Have you, been in this relationship whereby you felt that good, you felt comfortable, you felt like this is the person that you're going to marry, for them to turn around and say, I don't think you're the one for me? Have you been in a situation whereby, you have sort of relied on someone and that person has sort of let you down and you thought, you're giving it your all? You have to think about the reality and say, maybe this is just a current state of mind that I'm in because of something that has happened. And when you're able to identify that bit of it, that reality that you're in and why you're feeling like that, it's easier for you to go ahead and kind of like break it. Be real with yourself. practice exposure therapy. I talk about this so many times, and it's exposing and exposing and exposing and exposing that thing that is within yourself. You know, any kind of conversation, anything that you feel within yourself, just expose it. It will help with self-doubt. It will help you feel good about your own self, because self-doubt is literally that inner voice, but we are going to break that inner voice. But all in all, you're not alone. Every single human being has self-doubt. Every single person has self-doubt. They do doubt themselves sometimes. They do feel like they can't do this, they can't do that. They are not well, equipped to do that. The uncertainty of not being successful, the uncertainty of not getting the good grades, the uncertainty of not traveling here, of not being married, of not having children, of not accomplishing the money that they want to, the goals, sorry, not the money, the goals that they want to accomplish, having the money that they want to have. Is self-doubt. Sometimes you, like artists, or let's say musician, brings out an album, and that album does so well, so now they're doubting themselves if they can be able to produce another album that can top up the previous album. So sometimes you're going against your own self, you're going against your own being, you're going against your previous accomplishments with your present ones that you're trying to work with. So as I end this video, I just want to encourage you and tell you that self-doubt is something that we all have, we all struggle with, but the only way that you can try to break it out is by actually taking action. That is the thing that you should take out of this video, is taking action. Remember what I said: if a voice tells you that you cannot do it, go ahead and do it. Shame those people, shame that voice, and go ahead and break it. Thank you so much for watching. I have enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, and please leave down your comment. Next video I'm going to be talking about discipline and how to be more disciplined in yourself to accomplish so many things, because honestly speaking, people talk about be consistent, but they neglect discipline and what discipline is, because without discipline, consistency does not exist. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.